day, friends. My name is SVenkat. I'm a founder at Practice. We are an enterprise value creation performance improvement firm with offices in the US, Middle East, and India. Today, we have an extremely interesting gentleman who defies being put into buckets. Is he a CFO? Is he a chess and a carom enthusiast? Is he a fitness buff? Is he a doting father? Is he an early technology adopter? Is he a poet? Is he a Sanskrit lover? Sambasivan, the CFO of Tata is all this and more. And I've had the privilege and honor of knowing him for a few years now. And I'm absolutely delighted that I've got this opportunity to bring some of his life lessons to all of you. Good morning, Samba.
Morning, Venkat.
Thank you so much for sparing the time and doing this podcast with me. Really looking forward to this next 1 hour with you. You are a mentor not just to me, but for several other people that I know. You have played the role of a CEO, now CFO of a very large corporation. What's really going on with your life now, right? I mean, what's going on the professional front and what's going on the personal front?
It's a very deep question. So on the professional front, I would say that this is, in my career, one of the most challenging times. So I've got about 35 plus years of experience. The industry is going through a little bit of a turmoil. So therefore, there is a lot of challenges. We need to make sure that the people are still remaining motivated. My biggest challenge today is how to keep the people motivated in an industry which is struggling. So that's on the professional front. At the same time, I should also say that I have a great team. Thankful for that, really grateful for that. So the team has been with me for the last 10 years and they rally around the whole matter of the company not doing so well. But we are still contributing to how to improving the balance sheet. So we are doing our level best, while at the same time we are still the industry leader. So what I would like to say is that at the professional front, this is one of the most challenging periods which we have faced. The second part is that even though we have a challenging period, we still feel that as a team, we are able to rally around very well and we are able to come out of this difficult situation by having a motivated team. The biggest challenge, if you ask me, is how to keep the team motivated all the time when things are not in your control.
Sure.
On the personal front, I would say I am at a stage where I am really happy and satisfied, which is a big word for me. So normally one doesn't get satisfied. And I have lovely 3 daughters and I got a wife and I got a family, financially hopefully stable. So we have a good life and I can do whatever my dreams are. So
thank you for this, Samba. I think it's something that most of us are working towards, right? To kind of find that right balance where you are in a good state of mind, both from a professional as well as from a personal standpoint, right? Let's come to the role of a CFO as a storyteller. You know, with you, it's very easy, right? When every time you make a point, you always give an example, right? It's so easy to visualize the situation that you're trying to explain. I'm sure you must be doing something similar in your role as a CFO as well. So how do you play the storyteller role? How important is it? Can you give us some examples of how you drive home the point to bring other CXOs and possibly your boss, the CEO, also on the same page?
Storytelling is important, I realized much early in life. So we have a strategy statement for finance in which there are 4 key phrases. These are like core hygiene activities.
Right.
The value-adding CFO has to have these 4 pillars. First, he has to become a good business partner, which means that you have to understand the business. So you have to learn the ropes of the business,
right?
Which typically CFOs may or may not do. Nowadays, all the CFOs are doing, but in the past, it was not practiced.
Right.
So I started practicing much earlier in my life.
Right.
So I was always considering myself as a business partner. The second important piece is data analytics and insights, which is very important, for which you need the latest technologies. So they go together. Whenever you are putting a slide, it has to cover 3 aspects. One is, what is the story?
Right.
What is the numbers saying? What are the patterns you are seeing? Second, why is it happening? Third is, so what?
Right.
What is the action coming out of it? So this has to be there in every slide.
What, why, and so what, right? So basically you're saying, look, don't just dump an Excel sheet on somebody. You have to take the effort of telling them what that data means to them. Right?
And
that is
why?
And also the root cause analysis.
Root cause. So the last piece, see, first I said about business partnering.
Right.
Then latest technologies, data analytics insights.
Right.
Fourth is storytelling.
So let's look at priorities, right? What is going to happen maybe over the next 9 to 18 months time, right? So what is that one big professional goal that you're setting for yourself? And similarly on the personal side, what would be that one big goal that you're going to go after?
Professional side is very easy. I have only one big goal. I would be retiring in 2027. So my one big goal is to have a successor who is ready to occupy this chair. We have identified a couple of candidates and I am grooming them as we speak. And that is my single goal, nothing else. On the personal side, the answer is a little longer because I am still looking towards what my life should be, what should be the focus of my life. I have broadly 3 goals, so to say. Number 1 is I have always been a Sanskrit student. So one of my objectives is to make Sanskrit a popular language. It's a very broad goal and there's no end to that goal. Towards that, I'm doing certain things, trying to translate some of the material into Tamil so that people will start reading that.
Becomes more accessible.
More accessible. Sanskrit should be an accessible. Accessible is the best. Second goal, I would say big goal, is that I have one of my friends who is a batchmate of mine who is doing some real good work in education. Foundation is called Open Link Foundation. So I would like to join him after I retire so that I can support his cause.
Right.
So that's a big goal, that's a full-time job. He is doing phenomenal amount of work and more than I think 2.5 million kids are getting positively impacted by the work he is doing in the education sector. Third is for me, because I come from a teaching background. My grandfather was a school headmaster.
Right.
My father is a school teacher. Teaching is somewhere, I think, in my DNA. So I would like to teach or coach, become a mentor or a coach for some people, both from leadership as well as life point of view.
Right.
So I am doing some courses towards that. So these are the 3 broad areas where I would like to dedicate my life towards. What my coach tells me is that you should have only one goal. Like you asked me, well, there is one goal for professional.
Right.
There are 3 goals. I'm still choosing between these 3, or can I do all 3?
All 3. Got it.
So that's the, I would not say dilemma, that's the state I am in now.
Got it. The one thing that strikes me is as to how little of this is for yourself. And this is quite incredible, right? Because generally when we ask these questions, people are talking about profitability goals, enterprise valuation goals on the professional side. What is amazing is that you talked about succession planning, where you're looking to kind of make sure that you got a smooth pathway for your successor, making sure that he succeeds, right? It's more an enablement role. And on the personal side, all the 3 goals that you picked up, right, which has got to do with the making Sanskrit a more available language for people, or it is open link, which has got to do with education, or the coaching is all again got to do with giving back. So, truly touch with, what you're seeking to achieve.
I didn't think of it that way. So what I like, I do.
Right.
So this is something which I like.
Correct.
So I want to do what I like.
Yeah,
right?
so
I don't see this as more as a selfless activity. It is also a little bit of a
something that gives you satisfaction. Right?
This is something what gives me the happiness.
Yep.
I generally want people to be happy.
People who know you, Samba, know that you are a great book lover, right? And you've got more than 10,000 books, probably more. Tell us a little bit about where this passion comes from. So one is, of course, the family background, right? Because you mentioned about your grandfather, your uncles, your father coming from a school, managing libraries, etc. But also your own passion for learning, right? It's not just the academic degrees. You haven't stopped there, right? You continue to kind of take certification programs. You're now continuing to learn how to become a coach. So where does this unquenchable thirst for acquiring knowledge and reading really come from?
Yeah, this is again a very deep question. So I can answer properly because I have gone through that one course where I have understood myself. I am told that there are 4 types of seekers in life.
Okay.
One is a happiness seeker.
Right.
One is a money seeker. One is a power seeker. And one is a knowledge seeker. So in my case, when I answered all the questions, I understood that I am more knowledge seeking. For me, it is knowledge seeking seems to be predominant. So it is kind of, you can say it's part of your DNA. So
Got it. But equally, just to kind of extend, the theme of knowledge seeking, it's also, I feel, in some ways reinventing yourself, right? Moving now to an age where it is all AI-driven, blockchain, I think we are very blessed. In one generation, we were able to see a complete transformation, right, of the way the accounting and finance profession is kind of running. But equally, it's a fact. If you look at your progression, the need to learn new things starts to go down, right? Because we all become general managers after a point in time. And that's what happens with most senior professionals. You don't necessarily need to reinvent. So where does that come from? Is that also DNA or is it something else?
Yeah, I would say it's also part of my DNA, because I remember my father was always a learner, for example. He used to learn mathematics even after age of 50. He did his statistics MEd. He reads a lot of books, but not the kind of books which I read. My mom was, I think, first class in mathematics, BSc mathematics in those days.
Wow.
And she was also a working woman. She also was working in post office. She retired as postmaster. So both my parents were education oriented, and my grandfather, who lived with us, he was a school headmaster. In fact, he wanted me to become a collector. I am very, very grateful for him to put me in a Hobilamat school.
Right.
Much against the wishes of my father.
Right.
So he kind of put all three of us in that school, which
is something that you're very grateful for.
I'm very, very grateful for, because at that point in time, you never knew that what is this going to do, because Sanskrit school with dhoti and learning Vedas, but somehow my grandfather knew that this guy needs to do something. Now
reaping the benefit of that.
Reaping the benefit in a very big way in the last 5 years, so to say.
Of a decision taken more than maybe 50 years back.
Yes,
right?
exactly. So you never know where life can take you.
So looking at this entire learning and reskilling thing, right? Can you tell us one book that you're currently reading, and also what is the last course that you completed on the AI, ML, on the technology side?
Okay, I'll answer the second one. AI, ML, I have done a course about 1 year, 1.5 years back. After that, I have not done anything. I have done 2 courses. One is the basics of AI, and I learnt a bit of Python coding. These are all basic courses. The fact is that I could write code. So that makes a huge difference when you're talking to
technology professionals, for example.
Yeah, it helps me a lot.
Right.
On the books piece, I have read 3 books. My reading is a little bit less, but I'm not reading something with the same kind of intensity, so to say. I'm reading small books, like that Do Epic Shit, those kind of books which are not more than, say, 200 pages.
Correct.
These 3 are actually life-changing books for me. The first book was written by Mukesh Bansal. It's called Hacking Health.
Right.
The reason why I actually started reading is that the foreword was given by Mr. N. Chandrasekharan, the chairman of the Tata Group.
Sure.
And it's an amazing book, I would say. So there are only 6 words you should remember, which everybody can easily remember.
Right.
One sentence is 2 words. That's it. First sentence of 2 words, sleep more. Second, eat less. Third is, always move. Keep moving. Don't sit in one place. If you are doing all these 3, your life is sorted.
So this has been really simplified, right? So
simplification of simplification.
Simplification, right? And very actionable also, right? So this is the first book.
First book.
Right.
The second book is around sleep again. So there's a book by Matthew Walker.
Okay.
It's called Why We Sleep. It says very clearly, sleep is the most important of the triads. There are three parts to your health. One is sleep, which I was not aware at that point in time.
Right.
Second is diet. Third is exercise. These are the 3 things which takes care of your entire health of the body.
Right.
I was doing 2 properly. The third one I was completely anti, so to say. Some 20-25 years back, my standard resolution would be sleep only 5 hours daily.
Right.
I used to be proud of it.
Right.
Which is a big regret of my life, actually. The third book is again similar kind of a book. It's called Outlive. It's a new book, 2024, written by Peter Attia.
Right.
The entire genesis of the book is around scientific research as to how you can live longer, healthier.
Healthier, okay.
It's just not living longer, but living a healthy life.
Healthy life.
Again, on sleep, he made one statement which was like in your face statement, that the number of hours you save by keeping an alarm and waking up early,
right,
is the number of days you will die early.
Wow. Okay.
Simple statement.
Okay, right. But it's very powerful, right? Very, very powerful.
So I didn't want to die early.
Got it.
So that day I stopped keeping the alarm, which I had kept for the previous 30 years.
Got it.
So that habit changed overnight. After reading the book, the next morning I shut down the alarm. I get up when I wake up.
Wake up,
That's
right.
all. But I realized that I was sleeping the same number of hours,
Right.
but without the pressure of the alarm.
Alarm. That's so interesting. You just need to let go, basically.
Exactly.
Right? That's the only
That
what you're saying,
NREM
right?
and REM sleep is
correct.
more important than the quantity of hours.
No, thank you for this. I think this is a good way to kind of segue, since all the three books that you mentioned were on the health front, to also talk about your very inspirational health journey, right?
Yeah.
So, Samba, you're mentioning about your transformation journey. So, very, very curious to know, how did it start? How did you start this whole thing around running marathons, etc.?
So it was about 9 years back when I got a call from Chennai from some unknown number. So normally I don't pick unknown numbers, but this time I picked it up. It was a call from the nurse of a hospital. It was Saraswati Specialities Hospital, saying that my dad had a heart attack and I need to rush immediately. So I took a flight at 3 p.m. This call came at 1:30. I got into a 3 p.m. flight, Jet Airways, and rushed to Chennai. And stent was being applied for my dad. He had a heart attack, he had a massive heart attack. So initially it was tough. They were not very sure what will happen. But luckily he survived for another 5 years. So initial first 10 days he was in the ICU. I think 8 days he was in the ICU, and then he was in OP for 2 days. So I spent a lot of time practically staying inside the hospital. They gave me a room next to the ICU. So I was just plonking myself there and only praying and doing nothing else. And that changed me a lot. So here I was heavy weight and diabetic and insulin dependent, and all those things are there. Then I had 3 kids, small kids, right? So I was not as financially independent as I am today at that point in time. Yes, I was doing well in life, but if you have to look at say next 20 years or 30 years, I didn't have that kind of stability. So then it struck me that I cannot continue to be what I call myself Vela.
Right. Sure.
I had to become a little more serious in life.
Right.
Then I came back and I did a complete U-turn. So since I was reading a lot of books, one knew as to what one has to do, right, in terms of health and fitness and all. Only thing is I chose to ignore those symptoms.
Got it.
Then I started not ignoring and doing a complete about turn, and once I am determined to do something, I'll do it. That I am confident of, which was maybe the reason why I was postponing this whole thing till the last moment. Right? Because I knew that just in time you can prepare last day before the exams and then still crack the exam.
Still pass it, right.
So, but this was, life is not like exams.
Correct. Sure.
So it's a different thing. So I got enrolled into Striders, and I got a personal trainer who's still with me.
Okay.
Striders I'm not running now because of other reasons. But I have my, what you can say, dietitian. I have the fitness, what you can say, gamut of things. I got into a full 180 degrees.
Got it.
So it was a slow turnaround, I would say. The first time when I ran the half marathon, I was about 90 kilos. So I finished it around 3 hours. 3 hours and 5 minutes or something. 3 hours and 3 minutes or something like that. Later on I improved. Then second year it improved. Then I started getting into a full marathon 2 years down the line. Then I got into ultra marathon, like that. And that went on and on. Over the next 5 years I became crazy over this running. It became sort of a semi-addiction, so to say.
So I'm just curious, Sambharu, from the time that you decided in that hospital room where you had time for reflection and kind of thinking back on what you're doing with your life from a health standpoint, and the time you ran your, let's say, first half marathon, how much time was that?
So it is a very interesting question. In fact, when I joined Striders, I had not run anything in life except maybe not even 100 meters. I boldly registered for the January marathon. I joined in September, 21st of September.
Okay, so it was barely 4 months time.
Barely 4 months, and the trainer was saying, "Ab nahi kar sakte ho, matlab."
Right. And 4 months, this is without any past record of having run anything.
Run anything.
Right. And but still you said,
that
okay,
is where the determination comes in. I said I have to prove him wrong.
Right. Sure.
So after the run,
right,
it is a different matter that I got cramps and I was treated for some 2 hours.
But you did it. In 4 months' time, you were able to run the half marathon.
I did that, but after that, I was in that medical center for the next 4 hours.
Okay.
That I don't talk about much. Now I am talking about it, right? 4 hours I was in the medical center getting recuperated.
Right. Yeah. So this is definitely mind over matter.
Yes.
Yeah,
only.
that first half marathon,
yes,
right?
Yes. Then even for the full marathon, I said after 2 half marathon, after the second half marathon, it was 2 hours 37 minutes.
Right.
Then I went to the trainer, his name was Nilesh, and I asked him, I want to run the full marathon next year. He said, आपको तो 4 साल लगेगा full marathon runने के लिए, क्योंकि your weight is high.
Right.
So I was still 80 kilos.
Right.
I brought it down to 80, but 80 is 80, na?
Right.
You have to get down to some 70 or something. I said, no, I want to run the full marathon, and I did it. Different matter that because then I had 1 full year, no?
Correct.
If 4 months I can run a half marathon,
It's a whole year.
full year you cannot run a full marathon or what?
Correct. Got it. One of the things that the biggest takeaway obviously is that it's never too late to start something new in life, right? And you don't need to have an athletic body or you don't need to have run something in order to run a marathon.
You put it right, mind over matter.
Mind over matter. So, I'm just looking at a very practical situation, right? So maybe the first day when you went to Striders, I'm sure all these very super fit guys are all kind of raring to go. And, maybe there is this fat middle-aged man who is trying to kind of
Old man, not middle-aged. I was also bald, by the way. My this thing is Taklu there, which they didn't tell me, but I knew that was my name. Okay.
so maybe you were not running, right? Maybe you were just kind of walking. So it's very hard to be motivated in these kind of situations, right? Where you're seeing the rest of the world kind of so much ahead of you. So what really made you kind of get out of the bed every day and just stick to this path, right? See, a lot of people start things, Samba, right? But how does one have the energy and the determination, consistency to actually finish something?
See, I generally don't compete with others.
Okay.
Okay. If somebody is doing well, it is his prerogative. He has done his hard work. Let him do well.
Understood. Okay.
So I always compete with myself. I have to be better than yesterday.
Got it. That's very powerful.
So every day I wake up saying that if I have done 100 meters yesterday, can I do 150 meters today?
Right.
If I have done 150 meters, can I do 200 meters?
So you're constantly beating yourself. That's the motivation.
Not only running.
Right. Anything in life.
Anything in life.
Got it.
That's what I keep telling my guys also. You don't have to be the best.
Right.
You have to be a better version of yourself than yesterday.
Got it.
Yesterday there is a version of yourself.
Right.
Which is there.
Right.
Do something extra. Don't lose any of those things.
Right.
Don't lose any of your strengths. Losing a bad habit also is a strength.
Right.
So either you remove some minus in the next day.
Right.
Or you add a plus in the next day.
Next day.
It can be 0.00001% also.
But something incremental
incremental every day, which I do even today. Every day I have to do something incremental. It may be the smallest of small things.
It's just a better version of yourself than what you were yesterday.
Correct.
Really what is kind of keeping you going, right?
Yes.
So I think since we are now talking about your running, etc., let's also kind of talk a little bit about reversal of lifestyle diseases, right? Which is like an epidemic right now in the country. And a lot of people think it's okay to be on medicines, right? And I know you have done a lot of work to actually reverse, diabetes and a bunch of stuff that affects a lot of people in today's generation. Again, very, very curious to know, Samba, as to, obviously when somebody hears and sees your story, it gives people a lot of hope and inspiration that it can be done. But are you comfortable talking a little bit about that as well?
Very much. In fact, as I told you, I've already done an audio podcast, right?
Sure.
On my health journeys. So I did not start running with the intent to reverse the insulin or anything. That was not the intent. The intent was to become a fitter version of myself. And I had this idea of doing 1 half marathon, 1 full marathon. Then I thought I will stop maybe after a full marathon. But it went on and on because of the peer pressure or something like that. Because I saw a lot of people running. I was running with the youngsters. So you get that kick out of it, right? So that was the reason why I started continuously bettering myself. So one fine period, I think somewhere around 2018 or 2019, I think, my insulin requirements kept on going down because I have this habit of, an organization called Health Spring where I was doing regular checkups, right? So they used to do checkups once every week and I used to go there and do the test and all those things. I was very regular in all those things and the requirement of insulin kept on coming down. Over a period of time, it became 0.
Right.
So it now.
So you fully got off.
But I am taking a couple of tablets.
And that also the dosages.
The dosage of the tablet initially it was bigger. Now it has become smaller.
Okay.
Now hopefully, so I do not know. In the next 2-3 years, I hope to make it 0 even from the tablet perspective.
But again, very powerful, right? Because what it shows is that most people, as they grow older, they need more medicines and stronger doses.
Yeah.
Whereas what you are saying is actually possible to do the reverse.
It is. I'm doing that. I'm doing that, right? So
again, very, very powerful.
Yeah. So it's all mind over matter. Again, I'll come back to the same thing. What you said, no, I catch that phrase, mind over matter. Right. If your mind is there, no, पहले anything you want to do, first इधर कर लो. That's what I. इधर करने से then it's easier. If you don't do it here, it will not happen.
Got it. Let's switch to a subject that both of us are very passionate about, which is chess. But I think this nation owes a huge debt of gratitude to Vishwanathan Anand. Today, you look at the number of Indian grandmasters, right? So, do you want to dwell on that for a minute? I know India's taken the world by storm in a variety of fields, right? But how does it feel to you as a chess enthusiast to see young Indian grandmasters taking the world by storm?
Yeah, so my passion for chess started very early in life.
Right.
So I learned chess from my father, like many other things. But my enthusiasm for chess is more than my talent for chess. Right. So I continued to play chess and I continued to learn chess, and even when I went to IIM, I was the chess captain there. So I have always been in touch with chess. But now recently, with all these things happening, it is amazing what Vishy Anand has done. Is simply amazing, and I think we have now gotten into that virtuous cycle. In my guess, in the next 10 years, India will become what USSR was in 1984, 1985. Yeah. India will reach a stage of total domination maybe 10 years down the line.
Right. Grandmasters are very young, right? You look at Gukesh, Arjun Erigesi, Vidit Gujarati, Pragyananda. These guys have got at least 20-25 years in front of them, right? So it's very exciting to see what the future holds in store. Yeah. So let's also look at your role as a dad. You have three lovely daughters. Extremely capable, very intelligent, doing very well in life. Once we were having a chat about this, you were telling me about what are the learnings that you gave them, right? And again, you had kind of summarized them into a few pointers. So would you like to share that with us?
So basically, I'm a list person. I'm a to-do list person, basically. Okay. So this is something when my kids were born, I said that I should teach them some good things. So if you teach them every day while going to bed, it will be there in the brain at a very young age, right? And so first thing is what we had one small bureau full of books. So it's very simple. Read the books which are there in the bureau. That's it. But now the bureau has become bigger.
Very big.
It. Yeah. Second was that you should not bhayapadakudadu. So you should not be afraid, because girl children typically they are made to be fearful of things and all those things. So I said that bhayapadakudadu. Then the other one is a complement of that, dhairiyama irukkanum. Be courageous. Fourth one is ellarkum ellam kodukanum. Have the habit of giving. Last one is actually in English, so it is God is great.
One of the big responsibilities I think we carry as parents when we bring children into this world is to make sure that we give them the guardrails with which they can hold on to life forever, right? Yeah. And I think some of these things, either they get it when they are young, when they have time to spend with you and you have time to spend with them, or they don't get it, right? See, it's easy to lecture to children, but you've also got to put it in a form that they find it easy to remember and implement, right? And I think what I really like about this learnings is the kind of a 5-point agenda, right? So it's kind of easy to remember, okay, then these are the 5 guiding principles that I'm going to be living my life with. So let's now come to your latest passion, which has got to do with Ramayanam and poetry. It's not just Ramayanam, I know. So do you want to talk a little bit about this project and
how it started
and how are you progressing on this journey?
Yeah. So it started in a very funny way. See, COVID changed all of our lives, right? So it changed my life also. I think in the middle of March, we all were asked to work from home. First 6 months, it was complete freedom. Means you have a lot of free time, you have nothing to do. So somewhere around August, I said, what am I doing? And I started reading some Tamil literature, because Tamil is something which I had lost touch over a long period of time, because I used to read English.
So life has come a full circle. You're now kind of gone back to Tamil.
Gone back to Tamil. So okay. I realized that my Tamil skills are still there.
Right.
Started translating Tirukkural. Then I started with Tirumandiram. It is again some 3,048 verses. So it's something like Chaupai, 4-liners. So then I did that. Then I got a little bolder. Then I started with Kambaramayana, which is 10,000. I am halfway through that. Further boldness, then 24,000, which is Valmiki Ramayana. But that is much difficult, more difficult.
Right. Is it because of the volume or?
Volume, and also because I put an artificial 2-liner or 3-liner. No, it has to be metrical.
Okay. So what you're trying to do is, A, there is a translation angle involved here. Second, obviously the meaning and the input cannot be lost. I mean, that's a given. Third, you're saying that it has to be in a poetic form. It has to rhyme. And fourth, it has to fit in a certain meter or chandas.
So every poem is an equation to be solved.
Got it. So how much of the equation have you solved?
40%.
40%, which is still quite tremendous.
I think maybe 45.
Got it. The one thing I got to say, Samba, is what you have done so far and what you are looking to do. I think most people will try and do this over 3 or 4 lifetimes, right? So the question is, where do you get the time to do all of this? How do you manage your day? What does your routine look like?
So basically, it is like this. So my BAU, my resting state is reading. So right now, it's a distraction from my resting state. When I'm not doing anything, I'm reading.
Right.
So that is a given.
Right.
So in my house, if I'm not doing anything, I am reading or writing. So all the other things I try to optimize.
Got it.
So I have optimized my sleep, as I said. Waking up to going to office, getting ready to office, 15 minutes flat I can do.
Right.
So which means that I wake up at 5:45. If I have to leave the house at 6 o'clock, I will finish everything. So it's not that I'm compromising or anything.
But you just found a way of becoming more efficient.
Yes. The other thing is I do multiple activities which are non-competing.
Right.
For example, when I am doing my walking, I walk for 10,000 steps. I always listen to a podcast. Always. Also, when I am listening to any podcast, it is always at 2x.
So you're able to maximize the speed. So that
when you are maximizing the speed, it becomes even more imperative that you have to focus.
Correct.
Otherwise,
you will miss it.
You will not be able to understand anything.
Correct.
So actually, I am doing 3 things at the time. I am taking care of my health by walking.
Right.
Plus, I am doing 2x speed listening.
Correct.
So effectively, if you do that for 24 hours, you are doing 72 hours work.
So this is the way to pack 3 lifetimes into
So that is one. There are many other things like that. For example, I would say that when I am listening to a podcast, then I write something which is like the original has to be written, no?
Right.
For writing the original and this listening, they are not competing. It's a matter of little bit of practice. You can do both.
So basically, again, on a lighter note, the microprocessor in here is capable of kind of doing parallel tracking.
But only thing is, we'll have to activate and start practicing it. First time it will be difficult. Second time it will be difficult. Over a period of time, it becomes easy. It becomes natural.
So let's talk about what probably didn't go well, right? I mean, if you look back at your life, are there any regrets or mistakes that you look back?
Yeah, in fact, I was thinking about it today morning, but I was also checking with my wife. She said that you should have become a better health conscious person 20 years before than when you became. Because she used to keep telling me, prodding me, nodding me every day, but I never listened to her.
Right.
So that I think is a big mistake. But I should have listened to her when I got married maybe 30 years back, right?
Yeah. Anything else, Samba? Anything else you would like to?
I would like to have a separate podcast with you and understanding about you. I think you have a lot of good qualities, and in fact your dad is a great Sanskrit scholar. I really enjoyed having that meeting with him.
Sure.
So it was quite inspirational. This Paul Erdős is a mathematician. He's a very famous mathematician because he's such a prolific mathematician, Hungarian born, and he used to say, knock the door of his friend and said, I have come, my mind is open, tell me what to do. Venkat, it was really, really amazing having this chat, and I was able to relive a lot of my old memories, and particularly the fact that I could talk about certain books and talk about the learnings which I had on those things is very, I would say gratifying for me and satisfying as well. Thanks for the opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast, Samba. Friends, the one thing that, for me is a major takeaway from today's session with Samba is how very large and very deep achievements can sit so well with a sense of humility and groundedness. Very few people are as relatable as what Samba is. It's hard to achieve success in any field of life, but it's very, very hard, I think, to be so above average in multiple fields of life, right? Whether it's mental fitness, physical fitness, academic achievements, professional achievements, family life, pursuits like Sanskrit, chess. I love all-rounders. I'm very inspired by all-rounders. What I'm also carrying away from this meeting is everything is possible. It's never too late in life. Samba mentioned about his fitness journey starting at 47, 48. Never too late in life. He is starting with his Sanskrit journey now. Never too late in life. The question is whether we are passionate enough to be able to prioritize it, bring it to the center of our universe, and make sure that we're going to give it adequate time on a consistent basis. I'm coming away very inspired. I'm so happy I'm sure this energy will stay back with me. The inspiration is going to stay back with me, not only for today, but also in the years to come. So thank you for joining us today, and thank you once again, Sam.